Staying on the screen this time.
Yes.
We live.
All right.
Love. This is what we want. We love our community. We love our people. I mean, we just love. Where there's hate, there is love. Come on, y'all. Who's tuning in?
Good morning.
Love
Good
and
morning.
happiness.
All righty, C-Suiters. Good morning. My name is Amber Vaughn, and that is the CEO of Community Based Connections, Mr. Mike Obell himself. And you are joining us for our September C-Suite. Joining us today on today's C-Suite is none other than Principal of Markham Elementary, Principal Shedrick Dukes. Principal Dukes is a graduate of the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, where he earned his Bachelor of Science degree in psychology in 1994. After graduating, he relocated to Fort Lauderdale and attended Nova Southeastern University, where he earned his master's in guidance and counseling. Because of his deep commitment to education and continued learning, he later attended Florida Atlantic University, earning his educational specialist degree. Principal Dukes has worked as an educator for over 20 years, serving as a pre K, first, and fifth grade teacher, and going on to work as an assistant principal in 2003 at Harbordale Elementary. This school was struggling with the inclusion of students from a very low socioeconomic neighborhood, and under his leadership, he assisted the school in accommodating the needs of these students and restoring school performance to an A. In 2005, he moved to Sunland Park Elementary School, where in 1 year, the school raised its reading and math scores by 25%. After that, he served as assistant principal for Deerfield Beach Middle and then Markham Elementary School, where he's worked as principal since 2017. Principal Duke's motto is getting better every day. He told me that he is certain by improving staff performance, growing community involvement, and increasing student achievement, they will move Markham to an elite instructional status. Please put your virtual hands together and help us welcome today's C suite guest, Principal Shedrick Dukes.
Principal Dukes, Principal Dukes. It is such an honor to have you here with us on the C-suite. And I got to tell you, I know you personally of doing the great work that you do at Markham Elementary, but we first met when you was just AP at Deerfield Beach Middle School, and
Mhm.
now since then I think I uh, travel with you to over there in Markham, and I got to say this, that it's been an honor to this point working with you. It's been a sincere and my dearest pleasure to be working alongside of you doing the great work that we're doing at Markham. Principal Dukes, listen, the floor is yours, man. I mean, there's so much we have to cover today, and I want the opportunity to just kind of dive into some things. Uh, for the people who don't know you, I know Amber read your bio, but tell people a little bit about yourself. This motto of yours. What inspired it? Just what made you wake up one morning and say, I think I could be a principal of a school. Tell us a little bit about yourself that wasn't in your bio.
Okay. I'm in education because I love it. I really do. When I was in school at Florida A&M, I was blessed. I had a lot of professors that weren't just teachers; they were mentors, and they believed in educating us to be prepared to go out into the real world. And I had one of my mentors challenged us and said, "I want you to go out to one of the local schools and just volunteer your time." I was actually at the time studying engineering, and they challenged us to go out and volunteer at one of the local schools and just give some time, an hour or so a week. And I went
Mhm.
to one of the local schools. It was Bond Elementary School, and I volunteered initially an hour a week. It eventually turned into me volunteering about 3 or 4 hours a week, and I fell in love with education. I said, "This is what I really want to do." I realized that was my passion, was working with kids and having an impact on their lives. And from there, I changed my major. I changed my field of study. My parents thought I was
Wow.
crazy, and it's been a great ride, because you still have challenges along the way, but that's where I found my passion, and I've stuck with that, and that's what I think pushes me to keep getting better. My getting better every day. That just comes from I listen to and study with a lot of videos and mentors that are online, and One of them, Darren Hardy, has a concept called getting better, and I like that philosophy of focusing on making every day a little bit better than the previous one.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you talk about getting better every day and making every day better in each. But what still inspire you now? You've been in education for a pretty very long time, and even gained some gray hairs,
Yeah,
right? I have a
absolutely.
few myself, and if I allow my hair in the spots that I have it at grow, you can see some gray in mine. But all jokes aside, you've been in education for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
What's still in sparks that plug for you, sparks that light for you?
For me, it's the kids, the relationships that you develop with the teachers, knowing that I'm not the only one that's passionate about impacting students' lives. Being able to develop relationships with the families, the parents, and the community. Knowing that what we do, it doesn't just change one person's life. We impact our community, we impact the world.
Mhm.
And when when we talk about it takes a nation or it takes a village to raise a child, I see that. I see that where like what we're doing in our school now. I see how we're impacting the community, and that's making a difference. Good morning.
As we know, Principal Dukes is in the school setting and enjoying the C-suite and hearing the announcement comes on. I think that's pretty awesome. We don't shy away from what's happening in education. We love to know there's positive announcement that's happened during the school day for our students, and making sure they have all the tools and information they need to have a great day for today. Um, and so we're excited how that keeps going. And Dukes, I want to get a little bit about Markham. Um, and we've been now in Markham for a couple years, and there's been some significant challenges, but there also have been some opportunities. And in those opportunities, we have some significant partners at the table. We have Community Foundation of Broward that's at the table. We have Children's Service Council of Broward. We have Broward Health. We have Spirit Airlines. We have BCOM, City of Pompano, uh, Broward County Human Services Department, and so many different, Feeding South Florida, and just so many different folks that are at the table. HCA Hospital, who's a huge fan of ours. Um, there's something special that's happening at Markham. Can you tell a little bit about the story from where we started and where we are at now?
Well, absolutely. And I can tell you, our friendship, Michael, has been a big part of making that happen. I mean, like you said, we've known each other since I was an AP at Deerfield Beach Middle School, and during that time, I know that you've been active in the community. And one of my visions with any school I've been with has been to develop a foster relationship with the community to where we create plans and programs to where our community doesn't have to go outside somewhere else and develop what our families need right here in the community. And I saw early on when I came to Markham that you were active right here in Pompano. You were really leading the charge, I think, with what can we do to put in place to empower Markham. And that just kind of set the stage for us to be able to come together and say, okay, I've got this vision. My vision is that, and you stretch my vision, because my vision was if I can get 10 to 12 partners that are actively involved with being able to meet the needs of our families, I know we can make some things happen. And you stretched that in 1 year. We went from not 10, but we went to over 20, and still growing. So that's been phenomenal.
No, but that's the work, and that's the commitment community-based connection has for our partners, especially our education partners, is that we just want to start what may be the idea, but our vision over time should expand. And I always think that's important. And so, dudes, if we just dive a little deeper, because I think we are doing some intricate things at Markham. When we look at, you know, some success that have been made, speak to a little success that you have witnessed just in a couple of years of what you have found to be positive progress in your eyes outside of just partnerships. But what are some of the gains that you feel like as a school leader that you're making?
Well, as a school leader, I think one of the biggest gains that I've been able to develop, and I'm very excited about, is developing a staff of people that are committed to being here. When you're at a school, a so-called inner city school like Markham, a lot of times you have staff that I say fit one of three molds. There are people that are here for a short season, maybe 1 to 2 years. There are people that are here for maybe a little bit longer, about 3 to 5 years, and there are people that are here and committed for the long haul for 10 years or more. And I really believe that we've built a system where we have staff that are committed here to be here 3 to 5 and 10 years or more. We don't have a lot of 1 or 2 year people here anymore. We're developing a leadership process where we have people coming in that want to come and use their ingenuity and their creativeness to put some new things in place here at Markham. And then that kind of catapults them up the leadership ladder to go and duplicate that other places as well. So I'm excited about building that staff that we have in place here.
Most definitely. And Deuce, I know, look, I have seen your work. I know you're just an awesome leader. We'll be there on Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, just whether it's picking up trash or creating opportunities for your teachers and the students and the administrator in the district by large. And so we are so grateful again for our partnership. But I want to dive into Deuce. What can a teacher can expect from you when they join your team?
Well, I think, and that's a great question. And I think about I've been interviewing a few teachers over the past couple of weeks because our school's growing. This year we've grown. Our projection was to be at 520 students. We're already at 580 students.
Oh, come on, man, come on,
That,
man.
that says families want to be here. They want to be a part of what Markham is about. And so we've had to expand and hire more teachers. And one of the things that I've told teachers is said, listen, I'm big on small group instruction. I'm big on focusing on the needs of the individual child. Our goal is to move every single child at least a year's worth of growth each year. But we know the only way to do that is to empower and support you, the teacher. So we have a lot of support staff in place to plan with you each week, to come inside the classroom and assist you as you're doing small groups, to help train you on a weekly basis and provide the materials that you need. So when a teacher is sitting with me, they know that they're coming on board to a team and that they're not out there on an island by themselves. And to me, that's how you have a village that can raise a child.
Absolutely, absolutely, just amazing, just absolutely amazing. And so we talked about the teacher, right? Because that's a critical element. But then there's the legacy factor of a critical element.
Mhm.
Talk to us about what should the student and the parent should expect from your leadership, from your school, the environment, the culture, right? Because we've been talking about, and a lot of folks don't know this, but me and you've been talking about a winning culture, right? We've been talking about, you know, everyone counts, right? In that school, everyone from the janitor to the administrator to the student to the parent to the person who just coming on site just wants to get information about the school, right? Because everyone counts the minute you step foot into that on that property. So tell me, what can the parent expect? What can the child expect? And what can our community stakeholders expect from your leadership?
Great question. Well, I think the first thing our parents can expect, and that they know now because they've seen it from me over the past 6 years that I've been here, they can expect transparency. I believe in just being upfront with the parents and say, here's what's going on, here's what our intentions are in order to move your child and support the community. Here's where I need your help. The biggest thing I stress to parents is listen. I would love to have every parent come out and volunteer just 1 hour a week and come in our classrooms and read with the kids. Doesn't matter whether your child is in kindergarten or whether they're in fifth grade, reading to that child for 1 hour a week can change their life. But in addition to that, their parents and the students know that they're going to see all the support that they're talking about led by me. They're going to see me actively visible around the school, in the classrooms, in the cafeteria, walking around the campus. They're going to see me engaged doing exactly what I'm asking them to do because it's not about telling someone to do, but it's about leading the charge of getting it done. And I think, and then they're going to see me being transparent and saying, here's my phone number. I give my number out to everyone and say, hey, here's my number. Call me. It's right here. It's in my pocket. If you need to reach me, just give me a call. If you get a voicemail, I'll call you back. But that transparency and that availability is I think what allows the parents and the students to know, okay, this will benefit me. This will help us move forward.
No, most definitely. And that's amazing. And so to our stakeholders who are seeking to get involved, we want to get into that. Uh, what can they expect from you, to our stakeholders?
Oh, good question. Our stakeholders can expect that number one, we're going to be looking to see how whatever it is that they do, whatever their business is about, how we can maximize their business to not only support the mission of Markham, but that it also catapults their business in a way that it's benefiting them as well. We don't want to just have a list of business partners that are coming in and they're just giving to Markham. We're taking. There's a lot we could use. But we also know that the better that we have a symbiotic relationship where it's benefiting us and also benefiting them, putting them in the spotlight. Markham is the big talk of the town right now around the district. So the biggest thing that we want to highlight is all of those partners who are making that happen. And that gives them an opportunity to be able to reach out to a lot more people around the district, a lot of the schools around the district.
Deuce, I'm gonna ask this question, and I know it's not part of it's not a scripted question, because I think a lot of times those in leadership who are we always say leadership is not easy. You have a lot of people to please, whether they under your tutelage, or whether they're above you, regardless of what it may be. Talk to other APs out there who desire to be a principal. What's some things that they should just get themselves ready for, right? Because I think me and you talk a lot about leadership. We talk a lot about, you know, what to expect from your team, and we talk a little bit about what the culture looks like. What are some of those characteristics one should have to be in leadership? We get into a lot, and we go into those emotional labor, emotion versus emotional intelligence aspect of the work, but get into what's your advice? Because we're both a part of a great illustrious fraternity, Omega Psi Phi fraternity, um, and we always talk about uplift,
Right,
right?
right.
Uplift. There's a responsibility for us to always not give a hand out, but a hand up,
Yeah, no,
right?
no.
So, what would be your advice for those APs that desire to be in your shoes one day?
Great question. I'll tell you, and I'll use the example of my own AP here at Markham, Ronnie Frazier. He is awesome. This is his second year here, and I'm constantly we're talking. We talk probably more every day than I do with anybody else because we're constantly sharing what's going on, where we are. Our visions are so aligned, and so I talk with him a lot about looking at the bigger picture, because as an AP, a lot of times the AP at a lot of schools is used as kind of the workhorse, and they're the one that runs around and gets everything done. But they're not always involved in the decision making process and understanding the why and the reasons behind the actions that we have to take. Because a lot of times you have options. A lot of times you have options of which direction you could go, but then you have to look at. I always look at a couple of things. I look at number one, is it what's in the best interest of the children? Number two, will it connect with our vision? And number three, how is this the best way for us to get the community, the staff, and the stakeholders to come together if we make the decision and go this direction? So it's looking at the bigger picture and then narrowing it down to, okay, which step's going to be the best to go and meet all those. And so we talk about that, and we talk about interpersonal skills. And that's a big one to me, for those aspiring assistant principals, because a lot of people won't be upfront with them and tell them it takes a different type of person to sit in the seat, and
Right.
you have people come in with a lot of different agendas and be able to have the interpersonal skills and relationship with someone and smile and say, okay, I see where you're coming from. We're not going to go that direction, but let me tell you why, versus no, get out. So and that takes the development, because a lot of times our APs, they're so focused on just getting it done that they don't always have the time to stop. So that's a process, and that's the development that as a administrator, as a principal, that's my goal, is to develop the AP to be able to be successful that way.
No, that and that's amazing. Yeah, and so we talk about AP, we talk about leadership, right? And so it kind of brings me back to Markham, right? Because I think again it goes back to everyone counts. That's a part of the team. Everyone counts. And so for those who unfamiliar with our work, at the hub, right, at Markham Elementary, uh, share with folks some things that we've been able to accomplish. Like, what are some things that just in a real short period of time
Yeah.
we've been able to accomplish? Because we have had events there that's, I mean, where it's like over 500-600 people
Right.
showed up.
Right.
But let's talk a little bit about what are some of those gains we have made. While we're not satisfied, but
Mhm.
we know there's a greater push. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Well, I think the first thing that I would be remiss not to mention was is our Winterfest. When we started meeting last year with our hub partners, we talked about what are some events that we could put together that focus on meeting the needs of Markham and the community around Markham, but also allow us to kind of put the word out there about all the partners who are here that can provide those services ongoing besides just a one-time event. And so we came up with the Winterfest, which I think was a huge success. We had, like you said,
Absolutely.
over 500 families that came through, and all of them weren't necessarily at Markham. And our intention was not to restrict it to Markham. We wanted to hit the Pompano community and let them know here's what's here. Let us be a hub, as we said, where you can come, and if we don't have the services, we got people we can connect you to that can get you what you need. And so that was a big one, the Winterfest. The other thing was that the partnership that we had allowed us to then, and we had never done this before last year. Each month, when we have our school advisory council and PTA meeting, we would have some type of student event. So, and that was through support of the hub, so that we had over 150 parents at every monthly event that we had at the school,
Mm,
in order to keep our parents
absolutely.
engaged and aware of what's going on at the school. And that was an amazing just change in growing Markham.
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. See that's amazing. That's amazing. And so talk a little bit about. I mean, obviously, there's ways of which those who wants to get engaged with Markham, right? How can if to the partners who may be listening who's not engaged in Markham just yet, to those audience and everybody else, and say, wow, I love what I'm hearing about this school, right? But how can I get involved?
Thank you. I think that the first thing that they need to know is that we're not hard to reach. They can call me on my cell phone or email me or reach out through Michael at CBCI, and we're in regular contact with each other. One of the things that even though you've heard us say we've got over 20 partners, we definitely could use additional because there's a lot of things that are going on in our school. We're under construction, so we're in the process of the district's building a new main building. While we're under construction, we're limited on space, so we're limited on the supplies that we keep at one time. Our students and families are still going through their challenges as we're managing this process. So anyone can reach out to me or you, or through our email addresses, which I'm sure we'll give here at the end, and we'll respond right away. And we would love to have additional partners come on board and support us.
Most definitely, most definitely. Let's talk about our one of our head partners, Sherry Brown, have been just amazing in this partnership. Who is the vice president of community impact at Community Foundation in Broward. I think we both can agree that she just a strong light in our community, and we need more Sherry in the world.
Absolutely.
Um, and so, talk to me. How did you feel about when someone with community foundation backing comes to your school in partnership with community based connections and say, "Hey, I see the need." Right? What was your thought? Like, what hit you right there?
Well, I was blown away. I was blown away because I remember when we had those initial meetings, and we sat down, and she asked questions to kind of get an understanding of where we're coming from and where we want to go. And it was amazing to me to hear her say, "Listen, I hear what your vision is, and I think we can even stretch your vision and make things even bigger, because we can bring those 10 people to the table to you, but but what if you had more? What else could you do? And I want you to dream bigger and put together a dream list. And I was like, wow. And then when it happened and those people came to the table and more started calling, it's mind blowing because you begin to realize how, when we set goals there's a difference between dreaming and setting goals. Because
Yeah.
dreaming, you're taking away the boundaries and the restrictions. You're focusing on what if it was unlimited. And she really brought that thinking process to the table. And I'm very, very glad and proud that she's with us.
No, absolutely, just amazing, dudes. Look, there's so much more we can jump into, but for those who don't know, what if a principal uh, if a principal is looking to have community-based connection on their site, what are some of the things they can expect from community-based connections?
Well, I think the first thing they can expect and I've had principals already ask me. We were talking just recently about some of the principals that have reached out to me. They can, and I've let them know they can expect that community-based connections is not just a one-trick pony. It's not a. They're not coming in just to do aftercare. They're coming to become a part of the school and community and develop and meet the needs of everything that is lacking in the school and community and help fill and close those gaps. So know that when you look at the things that you're missing, when you're working with CBC, you're working with the partners with CBCI, that you're getting a one-stop shop, and that's what I've been sharing with them. And like I was sharing just recently, one of the principals called me last week, and when I share with her the things that are happening, she said, "Okay, wow, I was kind of reluctant at first, but now I'm excited. Okay, I'm glad they chose me." I said, "Yes, yes, because there's a lot of people looking to be in your spot right now."
Right.
So yeah, I think it's important for principals to know that it's not just a in and out. It's not a one thing. It's you when you say you're about filling all the gaps, you really are, and you really put it out
Yeah.
there, and the people. And when you talk about bringing the people to the table, they come, they do. So I've been so impressed with that process. I have.
Thank you so much, Principal. Principal, I want you to get a chance to appeal directly to the parents. Why is it important that parents come to the meetings and follow up with their children and take active role in their children's education? What impact does that have on children?
Thank you. I want parents to know that we know that, and I know myself, having had two kids that came through the Broward County system, it's not easy raising kids and taking care of your family and taking care of all the responsibilities that go along with that and being at all the events. But I can tell you, and just looking back on my own life when I was growing up, having parents there, even if it's just once a month, changes the way the children look at the importance of education. It changes their ability to dream and believe they
Mm.
can be whatever they want to be. That presence is so critical to us empowering our kids. And that starts with parents because we can do all we can to try and fill some of those gaps, but we can't be that parent the way you can. So, parents, just know that your role is so critical, and being available, whether it's once a month or once a week, is still important.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just parent engagement is always important, right? We say there's a lot of parents that can show up to a football field, to a
Right,
baseball field, to
right,
a track field, to a
right.
basketball court, right?
Mhm.
But that classroom is just as important, if not more important,
Right,
right? I think the
right.
classroom is more important in this journey, and so that's really critical. Dudes, I want to close out with this. I know we don't want to take more of your time. You got to get back to teaching, um, or administrating as well. Uh, so, as a principal, you welcomed us in. You trusted us to be on your site. We cultivate and created plans. We every last Wednesday of the month, we meet. Correction, Thursday of the month, we meet and we talk about the works that's being done across the board, and we kind of have a pulse on how things happen. We have had some partners who donate, uh, gift cards for teachers, right?
Yeah.
ACA Hospital, ACA Northwest, who donated gift cards for teachers through community-based connection, and we're getting ready to create an office room of supplies for teachers. Uh, so there's a lot that is happening. There's a lot of, just in the back to school kickoff, we touch over 500 families
Yeah.
and gave away barbecue grills
Right.
to families because we know we're in hurricane season, and
Right.
that's important. So there's so many different levels and capacity, but we're also providing aftercare support, and we're also looking at how to bring mental health services to the families. So there's different elements of what's happening at Markham. So when you think about all the elements, the mental health, the now I think we're launching a new initiative where now we will be making home visits to the kids who did not show up to school,
Right.
right?
Right.
So when
Yeah.
you think about all these different elements, right? All these different whether it's a loophole, we're closing the gap. We're closing the loophole. Where if there's a gap, we're closing the gap. If there's a bridge, we're creating it, or we're getting across it, for a better saying. Um, Talk a little bit about what all that looks like to you as a leader, and how that continue to elevate your school.
Oh, great question. I think a great way of kind of illustrating that is, and it is closing the gaps. It's just kind of talk a little bit about that process because I don't think other principals will understand unless they hear this. When we sat down and we talked about what is it that Markham needs, we started by looking at, okay, what are the goals for Markham? And our goal for Markham is to be an A school that is one of the elite schools in the district. We're a magnet school of technology and global communications. And the
Say that
and
again, man. I don't think people know that. Say that again. Say
we're
that
a
again.
magnet school of global technology and global communications. And our focus is to make sure that our students are prepared for the 21st century when they leave Markham so that they can go to another magnet school and extend their growth, extend their learning. So in doing that, we sat with the hub partners and they said, okay, what is it going to take to make that happen? Okay, what are the challenges and what are the needs? And so one of the challenges we identified was attendance. A lot of our kids, we have very high absentee rate that we're working on bringing down. And as a result of that, we looked at, okay, well, what's causing the absentee rate? Is it that parents are not able to get their kids to a doctor because they're sick, so they just keep them home and keep all the kids home? Is it that someone they don't know where to get help for finding a job? We looked at those different aspects, and then we brought in partners to assist with that. That's where CBCI got a grant to provide a community liaison because we have a social worker, but they're only here twice a week. But we really need someone here every day of the week contacting and reaching out to parents. So now we have a community liaison through our partnership to call and reach out to parents on a daily basis and then put them in contact with partners like the Healing Space who can go in their home and help them pay their bills or help them get a job. That's through that partnership. We've had a partnership with Tony Neal and Homeless Hearts, who does. We were doing once a month food distributions, but that because that was all he could get in terms of through his program, the food to distribute to our communities. But we have kids that on a weekly basis, if they don't come to school and eat breakfast and lunch, they don't eat. And so over the weekend, the concern was how can we feed them over the weekend? Well, because we had Feeding South Florida as one of our partners who came to the table and they met Tony Neal, they said, okay, we'll work it out to where you can have every weekend feeding going
Absolutely.
on. So we've had that going on for over a year now. Every Saturday, parents can come through, anybody in the community can come through and get free groceries through our bus loop. That's through our partnership. That's through looking at what are the areas of challenges and how can the hub meet those challenges so that our kids can come to school prepared to learn, not hungry, not tired, not sick, but ready to learn. So, those are a result of us sitting down and examining the needs of Markham, and then the hub filling in those gaps. So, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, Principal Dukes. Thanks for being on. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for trusting uh, Community-Based Connection on behalf of our board and our team here at Community-Based Connection, you and the district of Broward County and the new superintendent and your area superintendent. And so we're grateful for this partnership. I just want to take this opportunity to give a special shout out to all our funders, Community Foundation of Broward, ACA Hospital, um, Children's Service Council of Broward, ChildNet, Jim Moran Foundation, Broward County Human Services Department, just all our funders who continue to elevate the work that we're doing here in South Florida, who's trusting us and believing in the work that we're doing. Thank you to our partners at City of Pompano Beach and all our partners of the Hub. We appreciate you all, and we're going to continue to do this work at Markham. Look, Deuce, I believe, Principal Deuce, that Markham would be the new face for elementary for Broward County schools. And I believe in that, and it is our goal, uh, not just us, but our Hub goal, to make sure that comes to fruition. And so we'll continue to change the narrative about Markham. We'll continue to pour the resources and we're going to be in the homes of every child that come across. If a child's not going to school, we want to know why, and we're going to dispatch team members into the homes that day to figure out why that child did not show up to school. And that's what this partnership is about. And I know we're getting ready to celebrate an anniversary in the coming years, right?
Yeah.
How many years would that be of the school?
It'll be 60 years.
60 years.
Markham, yes.
Yeah.
Coming up very shortly in 2026 will be 60 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's important. That is impactful. So we want to make sure that we are able to control the aspect of what success look like for our kids and children in Broward County. And so in partnership is the only way we can do that. Principal Dukes, thank you. We appreciate you, and we appreciate the Markham family. Thank you for all the love and all the encouragement and trust factor. Thank you. Special shout out to Broward County School Board District and the school board members, Noah Rupert, and the rest of the city county-wide members and everyone else in their respectful places. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity.
And shout out to Debbie Hickson as well.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
All right.